Welcome to step 8 of quantum leaping. This is when your vibrational reality becomes physical. When what you've been scripting, visualizing, manifesting in a sense, when the reality that you have created in your mind becomes outpictured in your outer reality. This is when reality has flipped, your vibration has stabilized, and you are living on the new timeline. Step 8 happens in 2 phases. Basically, right before reality clicks and it locks in, you have this knowing that it's done. It's almost like knowing is more than belief. You have sustained this vibration so deeply, you believe so much in this reality, you've so become the version of you that lives here that right before your reality actually flips and you can see the outpicturing, you have this total knowing. And also, step 8 kind of happens in phases, meaning even though it is one moment where you look around and you go, oh my God, I'm living in the dream that I visualized, that I imagined, the timeline that I believed in, it's also a pattern of frequency locks where different things keep clicking in and you see that your reality has become what you were imagining, what you wanted, what you knew that another version of you had. I'm Alyssa, and I remind you that this timeline is optional. We're going over my 8 steps of quantum leaping. This is the final step. This is arrival. Last week, we talked about stabilization. This is when you're stabling the new identity, stabilizing the new frequency. You are preparing yourself for step 8. Step 8 is so exciting. When you quantum leap to a new reality, you don't close your eyes one moment and open your eyes the next day and you're in your dream home with your soulmate. You have to still experience the unfolding of the life that you are jumping to. You have to still experience the unfolding that version of you experienced. However, if you have a desire for something, if you have a strong desire for another possibility in your life, it's because there's a version of you living on a parallel timeline that's already experiencing that. And step 8, arrival, is when you literally merge with that version of you. A lot of people ask me on social media about this. They say that when you timeline jump, do you somehow steal the life of the version of you that's living there? And in my experience, when I was having dreams about the life I'm living now, I don't think I kicked her off into a different reality. I think that I merged with her and she was literally communicating to me what could be possible for me in my life. Now, this is how arrival looked for me. Like I said, it's a couple different moments where you go, oh my God, this is my reality. This is what I was visualizing. This is what I felt was possible. This is what that version of me was communicating with me. It feels surreal, but it also feels like of course. Like I said, right before step 8, you kind of have this knowing that it's just going to unfold for you. Like right before you can see it, you just know that it's done. How this happened for me when I was having dreams of the house I'm living in with the guy I'm about to marry in 3 weeks. Weird. When arrival finally happened for me, it was like, even before we reconnected, I was quantum jumping. I was on the new timeline. I had made the decisions to leave a different relationship. I had made decisions to have a better life. I was clearing and collapsing old identities. I was stabilizing in the frequency of the version of me that lived in my dream home with my soulmate, whether it was this guy or not. But when we actually did reconnect and he asked me to go to dinner, he did not, it wasn't a date. It was friends catching up. But this is the first moment of my arrival was on the way to dinner. I literally knew that I was going to have dinner with my husband. Now, I hadn't seen this guy in 15 years. There was no reason for me. Yes, we were close. Yes, we knew each other. We had known each other really well. Yes, he was someone that I had good vibes from. But the weird thing was I just had this weird feeling on the way to dinner, which was like, you're having dinner with your husband. Your whole life is about to change. This is the timeline shift. That was one moment in my arrival, this just knowing in my stomach, in my gut, in my whole being that my life was completely about to change. Now, of course, didn't move in that day, didn't get married that day. Things had to unfold, but I had a knowing. Another moment of arrival was after we had dinner. I told him I had dreams that we were getting married. We started dating. I was like, okay, I'm kind of on a new timeline. Next was when we decided to move in together and I moved into my dream home and I had this weird feeling of I'm on a completely different timeline. I remember just having my boxes and knowing that I was not going to need these boxes anymore, like that this was where I was staying. And then another moment in our arrival has not happened for me yet, but it's happening in 3 weeks when we have the actual wedding of the life that I imagined. Like I said, I had dreams that I was married to this person. I was quantum jumping to a timeline where I was with my soulmate. But even though the wedding hasn't happened yet, obviously I'm on the new timeline, but it happened even before this big day. It happens in frequency locks when you realize that your reality is completely different from the reality you were in before. My dog wants to come in. So since Teddy was knocking on the door because he wanted to join this video, I'll explain it in another moment of arrival. When my 2 dogs passed away, I had a desire to adopt another dog. Again, desire is the first step in quantum leaping. And I was filling out all these applications to adopt dogs. I wasn't hearing back from anyone. I was completely crushed. This is a stage where you desire, you want something different. It looks like reality is not reflecting that back to you. You have to clear and collapse your old identities and old belief systems and embody the version of you that has that reality. So you also have to follow the signs from the universe. This is another step. There was something that told me, like literally, it was like, Google Yorkie puppies for rescue. And I'm like, okay. And I did. And there was a picture of him that exact day. And I had wanted a Yorkie puppy, which I thought, how am I going to adopt one? Like, what are the chances of that happening? I saw the dog. I felt in my heart that he was my dog. I filled out the application, and then I continued to have a mental breakdown for 2 weeks because I didn't fully believe that he was going to be my dog. Then I did some sort of manifestation practices where I bought little things that I was like, when I have my dog, I'm going to put him in this bag. I'm going to do this with him. I'm going to do that with him. I stabilized the new frequency, I had a breakdown. Then I decided that I was going to have a dog no matter what. The right dog was going to find me. I kind of let it go. And like 2 days later, no, it was a week later, I got the email that yes, I'm talking about you. This exact dog was my dog. So, and now it's like normal for me. I'm talking in a roundabout way about quantum leaping. The point I'm trying to make is that your quantum leap happens in steps. And it's one thing where they literally handed me the dog and I was filling out the adoption papers. And I was like, oh my God, I pictured this being my dog. This is the moment. And now it's like, he's in my life every day. There was a moment when I looked at his picture on the job application or the adoption application, and I knew that that was my dog. That's what I mean about a knowing. You get this like knowing that something is yours, that it belongs to you, because there are things that belong to you vibrationally that you are not yet experiencing in your life. And that's actually what I think quantum leaping is. It is the fact that you are tuned to a vibrational reality that belongs to you, and you know it. And that's actually why I think desire sometimes causes us so much pain, because we're desiring for this other reality that a version of us is living, and we know that we're supposed to have it. And it's like the gap between us getting there and actually living in that reality. But when your quantum leap happens and you arrive, again, it's like very surreal because you've imagined it so many times, or you've scripted it, or you've acted like that's your truth, or you've thought about it before you went to bed, or you, like me, you had literal dreams of it. But then it also feels like, of course it is, because you've been practicing being that version of you. You've been practicing that vibration for so long that it's kind of normal. It's like how now my dream timeline that I'm on, I was thinking about it today. I was like, oh my God, 3 years ago, I can't even like pull it up in my mind. But what I have now, I thought I would be like, oh my God, I'm finally I'm finally going to marry my soulmate. I'm finally going to live in my dream home. I'm finally going to live at the beach, all this stuff. But it's because it's become so normal to me that it's like, yes, it's amazing and I love my life, but I've stabilized the frequency, which is why I'm able to hold it. Because oftentimes when people are quantum jumping or manifesting, when you're quantum jumping to a different reality and you're not able to hold the frequency yet, that's oftentimes why people get money and lose it, or get in a relationship and quote unquote energetically self-sabotage, because you're not quite the version of you that can hold it. But when you're in arrival, the new timeline has clicked and you've held that vibration long enough that it's going to stay. Like, you're in the timeline, you're the version of you that has that. You're the version of you with the great job. You're the version of you with the great body. You're the version of you with the great partner, because you've become them vibrationally. So the key is really becoming in vibration that version of you first. Being at that vibrational frequency as them, having the same beliefs as them, taking the aligned actions that they would take, embodying them before it shows up. And when it shows up, it's like a different timeline, because like, you're a new you. Like I said, it was about 3 years ago when this whole quantum leap happened. And I think about the relationship that I had left and the apartment I was living in, and just, it's like, I can't even, like, that doesn't even feel like me. Like, I try to pull up memories of it, and I have memories, but it's so confusing to me because it's like, it's not me. It was a different version of me. And I had to become a new me to be able to live in this reality, because that version of me obviously did not believe that she was worth living in my dream home or having a partner at that level, or I didn't even believe that love could be this good or whatever it is. And like I said, in 3 weeks, I'm going to marry this guy that I like dreamed that we were married. But what's even weirder is when I would dreamed about him before I even knew that he was the person I was going to marry, because other versions of us are communicating with us. So when you get those, like, that's one of the parts about arrival, is sometimes you have to connect with the leap. You have to connect with the timeline. Like how I got this nudge to Google, like after I had been submitting to so many dog rescues trying to adopt a dog, and I was like not hearing back from anyone. And then I just got this weird, like, I have clairaudience, so I hear things in my head about connecting with this website, and I found my literal soulmate dog. The same thing that happened with my about to be husband. I had been trying to get a hold of him because I was having dreams about him and I couldn't find his number. And then when I finally was like stabilized enough in my frequency that I had cleared out the last relationship, I had cleared a lot of limiting beliefs through plant medicine about relationships and about what I deserved, and just decided that I was going to get to be happy, like changing my beliefs about that life could be good, like not subscribing anymore to the idea that love was hard, no longer subscribing to the idea that men were bad, no longer subscribing to the idea that it was too late for me, that like, while I had messed up so many relationships that like it wasn't meant for me. No, I unsubscribed from all those limiting beliefs. I was like focused on myself, about being the version of me that was going to be happy, deciding that I was going to move to the beach, whether it was by myself or with someone else. And then listening to what the universe said to me. And the universe literally manifested this old phone that had my fiance's number in it from like 15 years before. It like showed up in my house, and it had maybe been there the whole time, but I was not a vibrational match to communicating with him at that time, because if I had, it wouldn't have worked out this way. I was not ready for this timeline. It's actually a blessing when arrival doesn't come right away, because you want to be ready for the timeline that you are jumping to. Like I said, there are things that belong to you vibrationally that exist in a vibrational reality, that exists on another reality, that exist on another timeline. It's up to you to become in vibrational alignment with them. That's what Abraham Hicks talks about a lot. They talk about the vibrational reality. I think of it as parallel universes, but there's things that you desire that are meant to be yours, but you have to match the frequency. You have to get on the same vibrational frequency as them, much like a TV, like a radio station or whatever you're watching on your TV. You have to focus on what you want, and you have to match the frequency that you can exist in that same reality, because there's all these parallel realities existing right now where you're doing very different things based on your frequency, your beliefs, your choices, all of that. And when you start to curate those things to match the reality that you desire to live in, you will hit step 8 and you will arrive, and it will be amazing. And you know what's going to happen next? You're going to live in that reality for a while. Teddy wants to know what's going to happen next. You're going to live in that reality. It's going to be fantastic. And then there's going to be another area of your life that you're like, I want a quantum leap to, and you're able to continue to experience greater realities, but your baseline frequency will have raised. So the key points with arrival is it happens first. First, it happens internally where you have an inner knowing, and knowing is way stronger than belief, because you just know that something is going to happen for you. And then it happens externally, and it also happens in like arrival steps. Again, you don't wake up, you don't close your eyes and wake up and you're in the house with the guy or the girl, or you're on the boat or wherever you're wanting to be with whoever you're wanting to be. It happens in different moments where you connect with the person. And then, you move in together and then you get married. I fully arrived on my timeline multiple times. I definitely arrived, like when we reconnected, that was the new timeline. And I even say that there were different things about his physicality that are not in this timeline, which is like how I know that I quantum leapt. Like, he used to have a tattoo on his arm and he doesn't have it anymore. And it was a tattoo that he says he wanted to get, but he swears he never had it in this reality. I'm like, okay, different timeline. That happens. Then there are the moments when there was a moment when we were on our way to dinner that I was like, I've arrived with my husband in my dream home, even though this guy just thinks we're like catching up. Then there's the arrival of like moving in together and being like waking up and being like, I dreamed that I was like sleeping next to my soulmate. And then in 3 weeks, I'm going to have another arrival point where I'm like, oh, I'm actually married to the person. But even though the marriage hasn't happened yet, I know that I've arrived. Like, the timeline already happened. I'm on the timeline. Again, that's what I mean about the unfolding of it. Like, this timeline started unfolding for me 3 years ago. So your arrival is probably going to be a bunch of beautiful unfolding steps. And it's actually beautiful. It's just like this beautiful unfolding of your life. So just know that if you desire to live on another timeline, it's because a version of you is telling you, hey, you deserve this timeline. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be free. You deserve to be wealthy. You deserve to be loved. It's asking you to change your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs to match them. It's asking you to raise your vibrational frequency and let go of anything that is not serving you. Let go of anything that's lowering your vibration, because you are literally source in human body, and we're here to have great adventures and to experience what we desire. I believe that what is desired by us is destined for us. That if you have a desire in your life, it's because there's a version of you already living it. Start to pay attention, and they will start giving you the keys on how to connect with them and timeline jump, and you will arrive and you'll be in your new timeline. And I'd love to hear about it. Remember, this timeline is optional, right, Teddy? Much love.